give you 5 seconds to decide what you think I'm making from here. If you guessed the pants, you're correct. They're like track pants with this cool ruche detail, which gives me actually an exciting opportunity just from like a personal craft standpoint. I get to do like the cord locks I've never dealt with before, that type of like cylindrical elastic I don't think I've really dealt with before. We might have to do buttonholes. Plenty of firsts. I hope you enjoy my journey because it will probably come with lots of struggles. I'm gonna be extra careful to not talk while I handle this material at the same time because it's like... Pants number 1 are like this. They are snow pants, I'm pretty sure. My goal after finding this was to find another pair of pants that I thought were similar. This one's way thinner because I think they're more like truck pants and not snow pants. As you can see, hopefully, I think it's a close match. And then when it comes to the ruching, here are the supplies that I got. First, the black cord elastic. Very sturdy. This one, I probably should have gotten it in black, but I got it in blue just for you, because then it will show up a lot easier on the camera. And lastly, I got these cord locks. I've never worked with these before. We're just gonna put 40 of them onto pants. Doing arts and crafts as an adult means that after you make the mess, you have to clean it up yourself. I have flipped the snow pants inside out, and I think I'm going to cut off the fleece because I really do not need to be sweating buckets while wearing this. The strategy here is to do sort of a human centipede situation where I'm going to take the legs of this pair of pants and attach them to the other pants. Pants number 2, come on down. Okay, so with pants number 2, downside though is that they've got these white stripes, so I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to tackle this. We'll save these for later. Wait! These are stitched on. I could just seam rip them out. Yes! Although that's not a win at all. I hate seam ripping! This is the bottom cuff. This is that patch that was useful on the snow pants to help reduce wear and tear on the inner ankle. And now it's my visor.
Iconic. She's an artist.
One pair of pants is gonna be the waist all the way to the bottom of that pant. Then I have one empty tube of a pant for each of the legs to get longer. I kept the zipper closure from the bottom of the striped pant, and that is going to be connected at the bottom since then I can keep the zipper closure. This middle section was actually a bit wider in diameter than the section above it, so I drew this line right here, and we're just going to sew it in, take it in a little bit. We'll get this done, and then I will attach them all together. Oh my goodness. It just goes on. All right. It's cord time. I think in the original design there are 4 channels in total on each leg, so like 2 in the front and 2 in the back. 4 channels per leg, which is 8 channels in total. So the first thing, which is daunting, is I gotta measure how much of this is needed to get the entire 8 channels done. And basically that will determine if I bought enough elastic. I'm gonna go do some math. All these cord loops need to be 29.3 centimeters apart, and we need 40 pieces in total of elastic. So we're just gonna start cutting. 51. This is what I'm reading at the moment. I've never used the buttonhole foot on my machine before. I want this buttonhole to be too small for this guy to pass through. The distance between the top and the bottom peg is the width of the hole. I got my sample visor fabric to practice on. Yes, I have to lower this. Good. Okay. It got possessed. It did this all by itself. And then I think I just cut down the middle. I'm gonna do that by folding it in half. Voila. This is becoming a bit of a multi-day jaunt. So now the goal is to repeat that, but actually on the pant this time. We've added long white lines along the entire length of the pant. These I'm calling channels. They are going to be the channel in which the elastic bands are going to go into. These horizontal lines that I've marked are for me to know where every segment of the channel takes place, and every segment of the channel contains one piece of elastic and one cord lock. I'm going to start with the ones closer to the ankles because those are the ones that are farther from other people. That's my tip for sewing. If you're nervous, always start with the part that you think less people will see. Just as I started making progress, my machine decided to go psycho on me. It started to make really loud, scary noises while I was sewing, and if you've sewn before, I'm sure you've seen this. It's just giving birth to this crazed knot. Now I'm kind of concerned that there's like a piece of dust trapped underneath here. I think I saw it briefly. I guess I'll have to go hunt for the little guy again. And then we'll do a test run on a new piece of fabric to see if everything's back in working order. Please don't mind how mangled these look. This is because the lining kind of got caught in the wrong place while I was doing the buttonhole. But the next step is to attach these elastic cords to the inside of the pants. I've attached these little elastic bands to the cords, and that's just to help me be able to fish them out through the buttonhole. These strings are coming out of the buttonholes, and I've tied them together in order to make sure that they don't get lost and retract back where they came from. And here is how it looks on the inside. I've got all of these sewn in at the very top. I can't attach the plastic cord locks yet because if I attach them, I can't sew over it because they'll take up so much space and they won't fit under the sewing machine. So this is the method that I've devised, and I really don't know if I'm probably just doing more work than necessary. And in fact, she was doing more work than necessary. So my assistant Julia had a really good idea of slicing the pants apart along the inner leg seam so that I would have more access to the fabric. I wish I had thought of this before the first leg got corded up, but here we are. So first, I secured the cords with a zigzagging zigzag stitch. I brought all the strings through the buttonholes and secured them together, and then I sewed the bias tape over all of the cords on the inside of the pants. It was just a straight stitch up one side of the channel and turn around, and a straight stitch back down the other side of the channel. Here they are with this side already ruched up. And then on this side, I did run out of blue, so at one point I just had to bring in some pink bias tape that I had lying around. It looks kind of like some weird like gender reveal party happening on the inside of the pants. Oh yeah, it was the invisible raincoat. If you never saw that one, the pink is from that. Now I'm going to show you what happens on the outside. I get out my cord locks. Come out, Mr. Elastic. The elastic has made it out. And so then I can take these off since I just did like a little pull through loop. It wasn't a real knot. Pinch and slide these cord locks on. Since I cut everything wide open along the inner leg, I just got to put that right sides together and do a stitch up one leg, down the other leg, and then it's done. Here's how I made these Saweetie inspired ruched track pants. 1. Find 2 pairs of track pants that are willing to sacrifice themselves for the cause. 2. Pick one of them to be the waist and the cuff, and one of them to become 2 tubes. 3. Remove anything you don't want and sew it all into very, very, very long pants. 4. Mark 4 vertical channels per leg and sew 5 buttonholes per channel. That should get you 40 buttonholes in total. 5. Cut 40 pieces of elastic and sew them to the inside of the pants. 6. Make sure you have a method to pull out the elastics because step 7 is to seal all the channels with a long piece of unpressed bias tape. And finally, 8. Pull out the elastics and attach the cord locks to gather the pants. How do you like the finished outcome? I'm feeling really excited.
Lottie-dottie, I know karate. Simba, Nala, Mufasa, Sarabi, I be lying over. Any beat they eyeing over. I just showed her I'm the illest, just like I had told her. Shout out to that Etiola. Get an upgrade on your Subaru. You ain't even got a freaking CD holder. I be knocking off the head and shoulders, knees and toes with the sickest flows. And that your life, you know what I mean? Oh, you don't know what that mean? Oh, let me explain it to you. Look.